what you actually do in order to manufacture this is you take 2 graphite rods, and in a chamber, in an inner environment, that's an environment that has no oxygen, you actually vaporize the tips of those graphite rods. It turns out that graphite is one of the hardest materials on the planet to vaporize. And so you're using local temperatures of the sun in order to vaporize those graphite rods. As an example, we actually have a looking glass where we can see this reaction occurring. And if we don't have welder's goggles on, right, covering that looking glass, you would actually burn out your retina. And if you let it shine on your skin without those welder's goggles, you actually get a sunburn. So it literally is local temperatures of the sun. You can imagine when you have a reaction that has local temperatures of the sun, there's a lot of heat that needs to be managed. And so our equipment is fairly complex, mostly to manage that heat, but also to optimize the conditions for producing the best quality, really, at the end of the day, EssC60.
Hi, I'm Paul speaking for Free Range with Gail of Gaia. On today's exciting program, Gail of Gaia welcomes Chris Burres and Patty Greer. They're talking about the carbon-60 molecule, specifically EssC60. They even talk a little bit about how it's made.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. This is Gail of Gaia, and this is Free Range, where we graze on wild ideas. And once again, today I have with me the famous Patty Greer and Chris Burres, and we are going to talk about the EssC60 product that we have, or they have, and I'm also a sponsor of, because I love the product, and I think you will too. I keep getting what I think are wonderful results. And it's funny because this morning, today, I've had one problem after another, and I was all like this. And Patty says, well, why don't you just take another teaspoon? And so I did. And in fact, I was even thinking about taking another one.
I'll join you.
Okay, let's do that. Let's try that. We'll all take a teaspoon.
Yeah, once we suggested it to you, we all were like, well, heck, let's just cheers.
Let me see. Cheers. Yes.
And see if the audience can notice any change in us
during the show.
Oh my God, they're speaking really fast. He got really smart.
I got to get a different kind of spoon, because this spoon is hard to get it out of. But anyway, it really does. It helps my clarity and focus. I can honestly say that. And I love it because of that. And I also I can
share with you, when I know I'm going to have busy days, I'll take another serving. If I am feeling run down from a day that turned out to be busy, absolutely, I'll take another serving.
It makes a difference. It kind of pops you back up.
Yes, and lately it seems like I need to be popped up a couple lot.
Maybe propped up. Maybe not just propped up. But propped up.
Yes. And well, it just had, every once in a while you'll have a day where you have like one problem after the other, and you don't even know where they're coming from or why they're coming. But you have to take one at a time and keep on going. And anyway, that was kind of the morning that I had, so we almost got started late because of that. But anyway, I wanted to have this session again because it's always interesting, and I always have some more questions that come up. And one of the questions that came up, and I wanted to discuss this with you, Chris in particular, about the background of the C60 and how it is. Let's start with how it is produced, manufactured, because some people say, oh, that's from black goo. Oh, that's not good. Oh, that's this. And I just want to, I want to settle the science on that. So if you will explain to us exactly how it's made, manufactured, and where it comes from, I think people would appreciate that very much.
Absolutely. So first, I don't know much about black goo. I did some cursory research. So what I can tell you is ours does not come from black goo. That's a fact. We actually manufacture it here at the office in Houston. The thing that's important to understand is this is a naturally occurring molecule. So I'm holding up that molecule. It's 60 carbon atoms in the shape of a soccer ball, a truncated icosahedron. And this is the only shape that 60 carbon atoms can be when you have 60 carbon atoms in a molecule. So if you were to collect the soot from a candle, you would actually find parts per million or parts per billion of the C60 molecule in that soot. And so it's a very much a naturally occurring molecule. The guys who originally discovered it and won the Nobel Prize for that discovery started investigating carbon because they saw a spectrum out in space that they thought were carbon-based. And they wanted to understand like what was the particular molecule. It's since been proven that yes, that molecule is this carbon 60 molecule, which we say when it's processed for safer human consumption, that's called EssC60. In our case, we manufacture it in a reactor. So yes, you could collect it from soot, but you can't collect appreciable quantities that you could actually stick.
You'd be burning a lot of candles, wouldn't
It's
you?
a lot of candles. You'd be burning them at both ends and then some, right? So what you actually do in order to manufacture this is you take 2 graphite rods and in a chamber, in an inner environment, that's an environment that has no oxygen, you actually vaporize the tips of those graphite rods. It turns out that graphite is one of the hardest materials on the planet to vaporize. And so you're using local temperatures of the sun in order to vaporize those graphite rods. As an example, we actually have a looking glass where we can see this reaction occurring. And if we don't have welder's goggles on, right, covering that looking glass, you would actually burn out your retina. And if you let it shine on your skin without those welder's goggles, you'll actually get a sunburn. So it literally is local temperatures of the sun. You can imagine when you have a reaction that has local temperatures of the sun, there's a lot of heat that needs to be managed. And so our equipment is fairly complex, mostly to manage that heat, but also to optimize the conditions for producing the best quality, really, at the end of the day, EssC60. So that's where it is. That's actually done here in Houston. And then we take that, we refine it, we turn it into EssC60, and then we put it in our oils. And even that is a very time-consuming process. We mix it in our oils for 3 weeks. In the original study, it said 2 weeks, and we believe a lot of manufacturers are out there mixing it, continuing to mix it for 2 weeks. What we found is as our batch size increased, so from 1 liter to 100 liters, it took significantly longer to get all of the potential EssC60 that could dissolve in the oil to actually dissolve. So we think that a lot of the manufacturers out there who might be working with industrial C60 are only mixing it for 2 weeks and saying, we're calling it a day. That must be 0.8 milligrams per milliliter, which is the approximate concentration of EssC60 that you can get into oil. But when we tested 22 of the products out on the market, they were low. They didn't have in them what they said they had in them. And our just thought, we don't know their manufacturing process. Our assumption is they read the original study. The original study mixed it for 2 weeks. They're now doing it in 100-liter vats or maybe even just barrels. And they're still only mixing it for 2 weeks. And the fluid dynamics are such in that environment, it actually needs to be mixed longer.
Well, that could explain why that when I had tried C60 in the past, I know it wasn't your product, but I didn't have any noticeable results. And with your product, I did.
Yeah.
And the other thing that would concern me is I know there's a lot of fake olive oil out there. And I'm sure you do quality sourcing on your olive oil as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So we look for organic olive oil and we source it from one orchard. Right now, that orchard is in Tunisia. So we source it, which happens to be the same location where the original olive oil in the original study was from. And by going to a single source and having contact back to the single source orchard, it's really the best you can do to ensure that you're getting the olive oil, in this case, the extra virgin organic olive oil that you're expecting. Versus, the challenge with olive oils that are out there on the market is a lot of them have palm oil in them.
Yes, exactly. And that's excellent. And because that just it proves the quality of this product and why it works as well as it does. And if I can ask probably what sounds like a silly question, where does graphite come from?
Oh, well, really, graphite is a pyrolysis process with even more kind of basic carbons. And so you pyrolyze those carbons and turn it into graphite, right? And that's the graphite like your pencil. So you could take, strip off the wood off of 2 pencils, and you could take those really tiny pencil leads and you could vaporize them in an inner environment. And that's really how they did it originally, to find this process for manufacturing it at a larger scale. And you would get fullerenes. You would get the ESS60 molecule.
Wow. Oh, okay. Well, I thought that was lead in those pencils.
Yeah, it's called lead, but it's actually graphite.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because we don't want lead.
Don't ask me why.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
I want to say that I'm not an olive oil fan my whole life until now. And when you're doing really pure extra virgin olive oil, that spoonful I just took, I mean, you can feel that little bit of olive oil bite when it's the good stuff. When it's neutralized and, I mean, exhausted, you don't have any taste to it. But this stuff you can really taste. And it wasn't until I keep hearing Chris talk about he starts his day with his mega coffee and he puts coconut oil in, and then he goes through the day and he does his olive oil. And then later in the day, if he has a salad, he mixes a little avocado oil in. So
you're getting a good combo of oils there, Chris.
Right? So for the first time, I ordered the sampler pack, which is so cool. And you can tell that the purple one is the olive, the green is the avocado, and the blue, which I didn't wrap as well, is the coconut oil, because I started trying it. I thought, well, heck, if he does it, and look at his skin. Of course, he's also 35. That helps. Yeah. I thought, why not? So I got the sampler pack, and when it showed up, not only does our staff work really fast, and shipping is sometimes in Australia, you'll write, wait a minute, nothing comes this fast. And sometimes it's a slow boat, but most of our shipping is really exceptional. So when I got this, it was like, oh my God, I had no idea that our sampler sets are so pretty when people get them.
They are. I feel like I'm getting a present.
Right? I know, it's like gift wrap. And then the facial serum, I was just getting bigger samples. I get the beautiful box that it comes in, and you open it up, and I forgot I did these beautiful spiritual little words that say revive, replenish, rejuvenate. I don't know how spiritual it is, but when it comes to your face, to me, there's something sacred with rejuvenate, replenish, revive. It's about a renewal. And the Evo is the evolution. Our name is intentional. What we're doing is taking the whole C60 industry, which is ranged from industrial grade that makes batteries and solar cells for 30 years. Chris and his partner, they invented this huge Space Wars reactor machine when they were 20-something. These two kids in college were told by a professor,
that's awesome.
C60 is worth more than gold. And they looked at each other and they're like, well, that'll be easy, I guess. I mean, I'm just guessing if I had been there, these two guys that are all about, I'd like to, and they had the skills. So between them, they invented this reactor machine, and they've been making C60 for 30 years, selling it for all these different industrial purposes to sophisticated research institutions around the world. They don't get complaints. They don't get product back because everything gets measured properly at their lab. So lucky me, I come in when all of a sudden C60 is starting to be taken by people. And I think I take more than most people. For 5'2", I'm like tablespoon a day. But when I started taking it, I was dealing with a lot of shocking health things. And the first spoonful, I was like, wait, what? How can anything be that fast? So now I just upped only this week. In the morning, I'm putting the coconut oil in my coffee.
That's a great idea. I used to put
right?
regular coconut oil in my coffee because of the benefits of coconut oil.
That alone, when it's good MCT coconut oil. But what I've learned since working with Chris at a lab that has an HPLC machine is that the different oils will hold different concentrations of C60, no matter how long you stir it or how much you over put in it, it's going to fall to the bottom if there's not enough, whatever it is in the oil, to suspend that level of carbon 60. So the olive oil holds 0.86 milligrams per milliliter, which is a nice amount. You can really feel it. When people take it, our C60 Evo olive oil, they feel it. The avocado oil will hold 0.6 or 0.65. And that's a little less, not a whole lot less. So if people don't really like the olive oil, they can do the avocado oil. It's a softer flavor, and it has almost as much C60. A lot of people love coconut oil, like you said, the benefits of organic MCT coconut oil from real coconuts, which we sell. But no matter how long you stir it, it's only going to hold 0.3 or 0.35 milligrams per milliliter. And that's less than half what the olive oil will hold. So I stopped doing coconut oil because it holds less than half. But now I'm adding it in the morning to my coffee. And I realized this morning, because I keep seeing this old wives' tale about mixing cinnamon and honey, both organic, and you stir it together and it makes this lovely little, well, I put those in my coffee every morning. So now I
sounds
stir it
delicious.
up like the old wives' tale, but they say it keeps away flu and cold and all these things. So, I start my coffee with that, and then I put in the coconut oil, and I used to do butter. Now it's the coconut oil. And I froth my whipping cream. I mean, I go for it. But coffee is all I do in the morning. So I love it that I added the coconut oil. And we do 4 ounce, 8 ounce, 16 ounce. So you could get a little one of this and a bigger one of the olive. And that'll hold you for a month with really major results. And when you do that and you're putting it on your skin, which is the facial serum, it's really noticeable results.
I have to tell you something about that.
Yeah.
On my skin, you probably can't see it now because I have a little bit of, but right over in this area here, I was starting to get one of those, what they call them age spots. That brownish, just, and you're going, oh my God, where'd that come from? And it seems as though since I've been using the product, it's fading. It's actually fading. So I'm just really tickled and pleased with that a great deal. And what I was thinking when you were saying this evolution, Patty, was this is evolution of a solution for a lot of problems.
Right.
And there's another area that I wanted to talk about and ask you, Chris, about, and that is there was some addressing of the glutathione in the body. And that's an important substance that we produce to detoxify and a number of other things, quite a few things actually. And also low conditions that are associated with low glutathione or people that can't produce as much of it. They have anywhere from neurological to immune to cancer or cardiovascular problems and inflammatory problems. So glutathione is a very important substance in our body. And I know that there was some reference to it in the original study and some of the things that they have done in that study that address glutathione. So if you would go through the explanation of that and as you see it, I think they would appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually had to pull up that paper and kind of refresh my memory about it. Before I do that, you talked about fading spots, and it's really important that I share from an FDA perspective, those spots have been covered. We're not actually allowed to talk about fading spots. Whatever your reaction is, we're allowed to say it covered those spots. So you're
oh, for pity's sake.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. I just told it like it was, okay?
And I'm sure your audience understands that you have FDA obligations.
Oh, yes. It's like you can't use the word cure for anything.
So from
but anyway.
Yeah. So in this paper, there's so many amazing things. When my director of research first got a hold of this paper, he actually shared with me, hey, Chris, this could have been 5 separate papers. And what you're talking about is one that I just haven't kind of paid attention to in a while. And it's glutathione as it's related to carbon tetrachloride, which is really is a poison that they injected into some of these rats. And that poison, what it does is it creates a significant amount of oxidative stress. The way that they track that oxidative stress is by looking at the glutathione count in those rats after they've been treated with the carbon tetrachloride. And when you look at the data, there's actually a particular graph. I'm looking at it now. When you look at that data, what you can see is that those rats that were treated with C60 orally, treated with C60 in olive oil, right, which is really the C60 Evo formula, their glutathione levels, again, those levels tend to increase when you're experiencing more oxidative stress. Those levels are less than half of the control groups. Remember, just for reference, the control groups are one set of rats was given water, one set of rats was given just olive oil, and then the last set of rats was given really the C60 Evo olive oil formulation. So even though they were all three injected with carbon tetrachloride, even though all three were supposed to experience increased oxidation levels and therefore increase their glutathione output, only the rats that were given oil and water had a significantly higher amount of glutathione. Really, the rats given the C60 and olive oil, again, the C60 Evo formula, they really only tripled the amount of glutathione that you would see in a regular body, where those control groups saw like a 10-fold increase over the amount of glutathione that would have been included. So it's amazing how low the oxidative stress that those rats experienced, given the fact that they were injected with carbon tetrachloride.
So essentially what you're saying then is that the glutathione wasn't as necessary for the detox and oxidation process because of the C60 that was available that corrected that issue.
Yes. That's a reasonable assumption, and probably would take some more work to completely identify. Yes, what it's saying is that presence of the C60 Evo formula in those rats mitigated the oxidative stress that those rats were experiencing, so they didn't need to create as much glutathione.
That's a great way of putting it, mitigated it or modulated it or something on that order. But what happens is I think, you know how you've heard of the term adrenal fatigue?
Yes.
Okay. I think the same thing happens with people with glutathione production after a while, because we're constantly exposed to so many things that will cause oxidative stress to the body that eventually it just burns out on its ability to make it anymore. And so, because of the way this acts and donates electrons, I think that's kind of the key right there, that it really helps to mitigate all kinds of problems.
Neutralize that oxidative stress. There's at least one study out there that shows the C60 Evo formula to be 172 times more powerful than vitamin C.
That's just absolutely amazing. And that's and that's why you feel it. I really think so, because like I said, we are constantly exposed to so many poisons, you might say, and we have a remarkable body with an ability to withstand a great deal, but it can get burned out on it. There's no doubt about that.
So I've got a great testimony. You're talking about our bodies are great, that they can get burned out. We're actually have a conversation going with a 2-time U.S. national ultra runner. He runs like 50 miles at a time. He runs like 100 miles. He told me his average week is 120 miles a week just for training. I run about 2 miles at a time. I would need to run 60 times a week to get to 120
I used to run when I was younger. I haven't been doing that lately.
I'm not even sure that I could, at my pace, that I can even actually run 120 miles at my slow pace compared to his. So he is at this cutting edge of human endurance, and really it started off taking our product with just one serving and said, man, I haven't really noticed anything, and then tripled it. And his quote was, wow. By the way, I'm giving some testimonials now, so I am going to add, the FDA has not evaluated our product. It's not intended to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease. I asked him for, hey, put together a summary of how you're doing different servings when you do it, during the season. He changes how much he's taking. And he put together this whole summary. And the thing that resonated with me was, he said, Chris, it's not like I'm recovering better. It's more like I'm never doing the damage.
Wow, that's big.
Yes. And he said, as an example, in a 50-mile run, which is hard to comprehend.
Yes, it is.
but the last 10 miles, also hard to comprehend, of a 50-mile run, his legs don't feel wobbly. Like he doesn't feel like he's done all this damage in the first 40 miles. So he's wrapping it up with those 10. And he, again, it's not that I recover faster. I feel I don't do the damage in the first place. And I just thought that was absolutely unbelievable. I've never heard of any supplement that anybody's even hinted something similar about on the market.
That's absolutely fascinating, because the longest I've ever run was a half a marathon. And that was that was it. And too bad I didn't know about this then, but I don't even think it was invented at that point in time. That's how long ago it was. But anyway,
my wife and I run, we're going to run in the next Aramco Chevron Aramco half marathon. It will be our 10th half marathon for that race. So yeah, we like to run the 13.1.
Wow. Yeah, there was one in Colorado, as a matter of fact. It was Georgetown to Idaho Springs or something like that.
Oh,
and they have it
beautiful.
every year. Yeah. It's a wonderful and beautiful run. That's for sure. I did that many years ago. I'm not in shape to be able to do that at this time.
There is one thing, although our view is no comparison to your guys' view, I know because I've been out there. We are incredibly flat. So when you are running long distances, you don't have those pesky hills and mountains to deal with. You just run straight.
Oh, yeah.
The best qualifier for marathons is the Houston. In order to try and get into the Boston Marathon or whatever, a lot of people come to Houston because they can run their best time because it's so flat.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that reminds me too. There was the first woman was from where I was living at the time that won the Boston Marathon, or she was in the Boston Marathon, and she was from Racine, Wisconsin. I can't remember her name at this point in time. But anyway, I during the 10-year period that I did run, I really enjoyed it immensely. And then I think I moved and it became an issue. One of the things that we're able to do here in the Sedona area is there's great hiking, and you're up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. And even if you're not running, you're getting great aerobic activity. And anyway, I'm just really very pleased with this product and the results that I'm having on my skin as well as in my body and how I feel. And I don't know if you've noticed it or not, but I've calmed down substantially.
Yeah, you have. It's wonderful.
We keep getting that. Like, sorry to interrupt, Patty, but you're like, so many people come back to us and say, I'm calmer. That there has to be something that's going on. And it could be as simple as the sleep. Our most consistent testimonial is people take it in the morning. They report mental focus and energy during the day and then better sleep that night. But it's one of those amazing testimonials that we continue to get.
Free Range with Gail of Gaia and Free Range Productions is proud to partner with C60evo.com, makers of EssC60 products. C60, the carbon-60 molecule, delivers more than 172 times the power of vitamin C as an antioxidant. EssC60 is simply the purest form of C60, a known antiviral, antibacterial, and anti-inflammatory remedy that not only works, it is the only C60 molecule that is approved for both internal and external use. EssC60 neutralizes free radicals from cell metabolization and external toxins to help minimize inflammation and maximize detoxification. People report better sleep, more energy and flexibility, and renewed mental clarity when they take EssC60 products. For more information, visit EssC60.GailofGaia.com. That is EssC60.GailofGaia.com.
Yeah. And mine was because I had a very hectic morning. I mean, I just like one problem after another regarding my videos and regarding my links and so on and getting things together. And I was like, and I got a show to do, and it made a difference. It really did.
Well, you did it twice. When we started, you were really frenetic. And I said, take a spoonful. And Chris said, do it during the show. And you said, I'm going to do both. And you can feel the difference quickly. The other word is flexibility. We hear it, flexibility and endurance all the time. Great for athletics, great for sports, great for mountain climbing, skating. I mean, we're getting all kinds. We had an interesting first one from a lady with a bird. Now, we recommend it for dogs and cats. We hadn't really discussed it with, for birds, because how teeny does that have? But some lady said, my bird is almost dead. He's really old. He's laying down. He's totally lethargic. So what could I lose? I've tried everything. So she gives him some C60 Evo that the dog was taking. And she said, all of a sudden he started perking up a little. Now he's back to normal. So she brought this old bird back to life with our product. And that was our first bird testimonial. We've gotten a lot about cats and dogs, especially older ones, due to the flexibility and strength, where they're kind of old and withered and they have a nice comeback. And as long as you keep kind of moisturizing, as we know, taking oil regularly, it's like putting oil in your car. It lubricates everything. So when I was thinking the last 10 miles, the difference, if he's doing it 3 times a day, wow, that's great lubrication.
Yes, and we've kind of been steered away from oils, like they were bad for us, kind of thing. And actually, the right kind of oils are actually very good for us.
Very good.
And that's important to know, because we do need that. And also, I'm sure oxidative stress is a big factor in terms of stiff joints and things of that nature. And having an ability to remove substances like glyphosate from the body, which I'm sure this would help do, because that substitutes for glycine, which is an amino acid that's very predominant in the body. And if we're able to get rid of it or reduce the oxidation from it, and I know you can't say that per se because of the FDA. There's so many things that we can't say, even though they can say all kinds of things about other things that they shouldn't be able to say. But if it's anything that's natural, that's always a problem. So anyway, enough said on that. I just think I'm just making assumptions based on information that I have and know from my past. And it's just putting the product in the proper perspective. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Thank you. Well, I want to mention that our facial serum that is probably almost every sale now, people are buying the collection set, because you save money when you buy the inside, the oil you drink, and the facial serum on the outside. We also have a new lip balm, lip remedy.
Yes, I put some of that on before, and I've been using that, and it lasts too. I like the way what do you call it? The way you dispense it was the word I was looking for. It comes in that little tube. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was just demonstrating that. Yeah.
It's hard to spill. But I wanted to mention that it is vegan and organic, and we're really being consistent with our products all being really good for you. Of course, your lip balm, really important to have all vegan and organic products, because it goes in your mouth and you're licking it and it goes in your system. So the combination is where people are really getting results. And that's why we send you every month the combination, because if we maximize our results, then we're going to have the best possible outcome. And I'm the one that watches every sale. And there's more collection sets than single products, because once people try it, they know it works.
You just want to keep using it. Yeah.
Right. And
exactly.
I mean, feeling good is priceless. And there's so few things that really give us an effect that where you can wake up the next day and feel good. We've even heard that the olive oil, some guys have called it hangover helper. Like whatever your problem is, it's going to be surprising that maybe you might be the one writing a testimonial about it. But my skin, I had a lot of brown spots also, Gail. And I'm not perfect, but compared to how I was before, this product has really cleaned up my skin, but also plumped it to where it's soft again. And it feels more moist,
moisturized. Yes. Yeah. Cause there was just an extra big one over on this side, and I'm going, oh God, that's ugly. Anyway, But anyway, I had, there were some other little ones. It's one of those things that happens as we start to get older from oxidation. And it's improving. That's all I can say is it's improving. I guess that would be FDA acceptable, right?
Yep.
Well,
Now, are you using the lip remedy? Have you noticed anything with that?
I've been using it regularly. It keeps me sometimes around here. You can get very dry lips, and I always put that on first, and then sometimes I add lipstick. But it lasts. That's what I can say about it. It does last, and I'm hoping that it helps with some of these little lines that I have. But I don't.
Now, you were saying you draw outside because it's clear. And I think that's a really good idea to see if it softens the those little frown or smoking lines you called them.
Yes.
From the past.
Exactly. It seems to. It seems to. And that's why I appreciate, continuing to use it and seeing the results because they're there.
Good. Yeah, I think that extended use, a lot of, we have a really fun guy named Ricky Rebel. And we didn't hear from him for a while, so he didn't get his monthly collection. He said he got about 3 weeks out, and all of a sudden he realized, oh my God, I feel like crap. And so he called me on the phone and he said, please send me more. So we signed him up, for a regular subscription. And he got his product about 4 days ago. We did a show with him today. And he said, for 3 weeks, my knees hurt. He said, I really noticed when I wasn't doing it. And as soon as he got back on it, it just lit him right back up. I mean, it happens so quickly, like it did for you. When we started the show, you were dealing with a lot of emotional pieces, and then you got instantly calm. And then we all took another spoonful, and then you even talked about it. Damn, I feel good. Yeah, it's noticeable.
True. It's true. Yeah. It's awesome. It's amazing, actually, is what it is. Yeah.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Rob. They're just two scientists down there in the lab, and they didn't even know that people would be taking it or that animals would be taking it. And we kind of surprised him, hit him upside the head, and some people were making a lot of money on it. And they went, maybe we should be focusing here and upgrading the production level of how we make the C60 so that it's guaranteed to be safe for human consumption rather than what we've been doing for 30 years, selling to all these different research institutions, different varieties. When I began learning about C60, it was only C60, and some were 99.95%, and some of them were 95.99%, all these different percentages. And I'm like, so is there a big difference, to 99.99%? And then there's 99.9. And so it's like all these different variants. What can you trust? I mean, is there such thing as 100%? Well, I don't know if there's such thing as 100, but Chris and Robert realized that there was a market for it and they needed to upgrade and evolve their techniques. And that's what EssC60 is. We've officially trademarked it because there's a huge difference between C60, which can be all ranges of quality and purpose, or EssC60, where you're guaranteed you don't have to worry about all those ranges. You're buying stuff that was made at the only lab in the world that's been doing it for 30 years with integrity. Go, Chris.
Yes, I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. And I can vouch for that because I've tried C60. That was not your C60. I did not notice any difference at all when I took it. And I even did it for 3 months. I thought, well, maybe it takes some time to do, for this to manifest or for me to notice it. I just stopped taking it. I said, well, this is worthless. I can't afford this. And it's not doing anything. Now, if something actually does something for you and you have some type of noticeable effect, because like you said, health is your wealth. I mean, you can't do anything if you don't feel good. It's almost impossible. And so I have, it was noticeable, and I'm more than happy to continue to be able to take it. And I love it. That's all I can say.
For people that don't like the taste of olive oil, we have a new product coming out. We're working on the label. But it's basically hiding the taste of the olive oil in capsules, gel caps.
Yeah.
And
Oh, wow.
so we've got those coming out. They're already in the bottles. We're just working on our labels. But you have to take 6 gel caps, and they're pretty good size to be a teaspoon. Personally, I'm going to keep my teaspoon going, and I never liked olive oil, but the results that I get from that simple tablespoon for me, the results are so good that it's like I can bite the bullet and kind of learn to love that olive oil burn, because what it is quality. You're getting really good quality oil.
And from a nutritional standpoint, it's even without the C60, olive oil is really good for you.
Yes.
And I have to say, Patty, I felt exactly the same way about olive oil. I've never been a fan of the taste of it that much. But with this now, it doesn't bother me at all. And I'd much rather take a teaspoon or tablespoon of the oil than, a bunch of capsules. But everybody has their own what they like and what they don't like, and it's always nice to be able to have that option. Myself, I prefer to take a tablespoon, just like you.
We want to give options so that people can feel comfortable and get it into their bodies. That's the main thing.
Exactly.
Just to be able to find a way that you're comfortable ingesting it. Some people mention that the price, blah, blah, and I just want to mention that we have all kinds of deals all the time. If you sign up for a monthly subscription, you'll get 20% off every order. And if you don't love it, you just send us an email and you are canceled immediately, respectfully. If you sign up for a monthly subscription and as you check out, you put in Gail's special code, which is EV, like Evo, evolution, and GG for Gail of Gaia, EVGG. You'll get another 10% off your first order, and Gail will then get a nice, donation to her work and her sites. And we like supporting her channel, but we also like giving people the opportunity to try the product and save money. If you buy collection sets, they're usually around 15% off if you get the inside bottle and the skin thing, or you can get those two and the lip balm, but everything is discounted when you buy them together, and the results are going to be multiplied. Some products you don't really notice if you get the in and out or whatever, but this, people are saying, and all I know is testimonials. For myself, I know the results I'm getting, but when we get letters regularly with people saying, oh my God, the difference, and I have energy again.
Smooth.
Right? I mean,
yes, really
noticeable
smooth
results. You can't fight that when people can tell.
Right. And I have to be honest, I'm not always religious about doing it both in the morning and at night. A lot of times, but I always get it in at least once a day. But I've just been very impressed, and I appreciate the support of my channel, because I do need that support. And what I like even more is that it's something that really, truly helps people. If they give it a chance, they'll find out for themselves.
And we're in a time when I think people are going to be needing more help.
It looks like you're freezing up there a little bit, Chris. I don't.
You were going to mention.
It's just telling me my internet connection is unstable. Interesting.
We saw it. You have a fundraiser you wanted to mention for your website?
Yes, I would like to tell people I do have a fundraiser coming up on Friday, and a couple of people that I work with, Sterling Hill, Paul Beener, and hopefully Drake Bailey will participate as well. And I want to take my website up a couple notches to make it more people friendly and product friendly and so on. And so that's this coming Friday. I didn't even look what the date is, but anyway, it's just make things better for everybody, because one of my great joys in life is being able to help other people. And I'm always delighted to be able to find products that I know not only have integrity and honesty behind them, they are what they say they are, and they actually help people.
Love that.
Yes. Well, I don't, let's see. I don't have, do you have anything else either one of you would like to add?
The only thing.
Yeah, I think I think you've covered everything. I was going to just suggest you spoke about, kind of, and you and Patty both actually, about not necessarily appreciating the flavor of olive oil. And I think what happens is your body comes to understand the benefit of that taste.
Oh, that's good.
Goes, oh yeah, I used to not like that taste, but give me more of that taste, because that taste is actually really good for me.
I got it.
That's very true. Our bodies have memory that way. They really do.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention that I call myself the guinea pig because I take so much and I've had so many interesting health tests. And lately, my health test has been skin surgeries for little things being removed. And I've been taking photos every 3 or 4 days because I keep amazing my dermatologist how quickly I'm healing. And so I always ask her, does this look average good or really good? And she's like, you're so funny. And I said, no, I sell a product. I'm using it on my scars. Is this average healing or really excellent healing? And she says, you have astounding healing. And she won't let me give her a product because they, as they're not allowed, they can't promote. And I said, well, let me give you a present. And she's like, I wish I could. So all I can say to her is, how does this look? And so I'm taking photos. But one of these days I'll post some photos of my recovery, because I'm kind of like a Raggedy Ann doll. I've been sewn up a few times, and stunning, no pain with any procedure, which is so not normal to me, and really rapid skin healing, thank God. And I'm not young, but even my chiropractor who works on me, adjusting all the time. He's worked on me off and on for 30 years. So he knows me well. He knows what I went through in the last few years, really being tested, losing a lot of weight, getting poisoned, whatever. And all of a sudden in the last few weeks, he has noticed that my skin is thickening back up. Like the quality of my overall skin has really improved. And he said, that's really unusual, even at my age, and I'm in my 60s. But he said, it's really unusual for somebody to be able to thicken your skin by, it's by getting yourself so much healthier that your body, your skin is holding more moisture. It's a sign of everything's working better. But when he noticed it, that made me feel good. It was like, wow.
That's awesome. Would you be willing to show some of those pictures on slides sometime when we did a show? Because all I have to do is open up the share and you can share the pictures.
Well, I need to offload them and date them, but really impressive. And I'm not shy. I've been through enough lately. I'm just like, let me be the guinea pig, because I've done all kinds of funny things to my face, to see if the Evo works, and I've gotten all my stuff frozen and then light up the Evo on one side and not the other. I'm really using myself like Patty the guinea pig, because I'm the one inventing the products. And then once I get the recipe, I send it down to the lab, and Chris has a master scientist and a massive lab, and they just nail it. They get the recipe from, I call them me and the girls, the formulators, and they get it done. So it's really fun. We have a couple more products coming out soon, and as soon as we have them available, we will mention it. But I did want to mention the caplets, because they're already in production, and they'll be available very soon on the website.
Well, that's awesome, Patty. And I have to say, we're the same age. So we're anything that helps at this age, we appreciate.
That's right. And we're both benefiting. But I look at you and I look at me when we met, and we're looking healthier than when we met.
I think so.
And when I'm looking at people selling products for your health, supplements, look at the people. Look how they look how clear their mind is, and how well they speak. If I'm going to want to buy products from somebody who's the scientist or who's the experimenter, the guinea pig, I'm going to look at them. I'm going to say, do I want to be moving in that direction? And, I've seen people that are selling things that don't look like they're telling the truth at all. And it's like, thanks for the warning. But, when you first came on camera, I was like, wow, your skin looks so soft. I mean, it really, I see the difference, but and I also don't have my glasses on, but I can
I see the difference myself, but unfortunately I look at myself every day, but I'm noticing the difference. I really am. And it definitely, in my opinion, reduces the aging wrinkles that all of us don't look forward to. Chris doesn't have to worry about that. He's too young at this point.
He looks too young, but he's not that far behind our back door, honey.
Well, he got started earlier, so that helps a lot too.
Yes.
He wasn't around in the 60s doing the stuff we were doing, so I think he might have a better chance.
Good point.
Just what?
The 60s. I just barely made the 60s.
Right? Well, don't rub it in. Okay.
Yeah, really.
Well, I'm glad to be here. I celebrate every day. I celebrate being a co-owner of this company because, if you're going to do anything in the world, like you said 3 times, Gail, how nice to be doing something that helps people, that makes people feel better. And if I were ever going to be proud of my job, being a co-owner of the company with Chris and Robert, who've been doing it for 30 years. I've been on the air for probably 30 years, performing, maybe 40. But, for me, honing it down to what we really need in the world right now, 2021, my God, we've lived through a year in masks and fear and so many people getting sick and so many people losing loved ones. What's the most important thing now? Our health. So to have something in our back pocket that's more than 172 times more powerful than vitamin C, and you take it on a spoon anytime you want it, kind of a nice thing.
And like I said, it calmed me right down. It really did, because I was
Flustered.
Yes, very much so. Discombobulated, to say the least. And it did. It just brought me right back. And based on what you've said and all of your history, I've worked as a nutritionist for many years, and I had great joy in attempting to help people as best I could that way. Then I got into these media productions and bringing out information that people needed to hear that they weren't getting from the mass media. And now this is taking it even a step further, because as important as that is, I also really appreciate being able to bring products to people at this time when they need to increase their health to the maximum because of all the stuff that's going on, and optimize their immunity and optimize their health, and to be able to carry and be a part of products and sponsored products that will really and truly help them, not just rob them of their money. And so I'm proud to be sponsoring your products. I appreciate your integrity and the quality of what you have here. So I can't thank you enough. I think we covered enough for today. And I hope to see you again. I love you guys. Love and light. And see you next time.
All righty.
All right. Bye-bye.
This program is not intended to treat, diagnose, prevent, or cure any disease and should not be considered medical advice. The statements herein have not been evaluated by the FDA. The opinions expressed are those of the guests and not necessarily the opinions of Free Range, its producers, principals, or staff. Viewers are directed to consult professional sources before acting on any information presented here.